Welcome to the tutorial for Rolfus at Boone's temperature monitoring software, BCS Grain. First, I will show you how to navigate BCS Grain, as well as some of the cool features you might want to use. Then, we will take a look at Switch Test. This is the program that looks exactly like BCS Grain. We can use this program for troubleshooting certain issues. Finally, I will walk you through the Digi Gateway website. This is where we can reboot the system or check the status of certain hardware in the field, if needed. Without further ado, let's begin. Once you are inside of the BCS Grain software, you should check this bottom left corner. If it says anything other than Ready Next Read or Read Complete Next Read, skip ahead to the troubleshooting section of this video. On the right side of your software, there is a date and time list. Our software holds the history of up to 100 reads. You can simply click on the date and it will show you the reading. Next to the date and time list, there is a color key for the temperatures. This color key helps you visualize what is happening inside of your storage container. At the bottom of the color key, there are 4 other colors. Black stands for open thermal. This refers to the thermocouple on the cable itself. If you see a black OT on your reading, it means that the section of that cable has gone bad. Next, the gray color would indicate a blocked thermocouple. I will show you how to block and unblock TCs later in this video. Moving on, we have the red max rise indicator. This would signify that between your last reading and your current reading, a thermocouple has risen in temperature at a minimum of 10 degrees. Finally, the yellow high limit. If you see this color, then you have a spot somewhere in your facility reading over 120 degrees. Continuing from the color key, we have the text section of the temperatures. This will show you the exact temperature of your commodity. The left side, or TC1, would be the bottom of your temperature cable. On the other side, TC18 would be the top of your cable. If you want to see where the cables are inside of your storage container, simply click on the bin. North will always be facing the top of your computer screen. To return back to the previous view, click on Facility. To change your view within the software, you can click on the Display tab in the top left. This is where you can either hide or show things like the date and time list or the color key. To change the format of the temperatures, click right here. This is where you can change from 2D to 3D and to other options like text and cable view. There is also an option to do a resistance read if needed. To perform that function, click here. You can toggle between temperature and resistance. Now let's check out how to do a read and schedule a read. Start by clicking Read on the top bar. Then you can either begin a read right now or click Schedule Read. This is where you can set your daily reads up. We typically set systems up to read at either 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. If you opted in for the app and web portal, we recommend not doing a read earlier than this. The app and the software both collect information from reads from our Digi Gateway. If you do a read on the app and software at the same time, it will likely break the system and require a service tech to get it up and running again. If you do not have the app and web software, you can schedule your temperature readings for whenever you like. Just make sure the computer is not powered down overnight and the software is open. You can minimize the software, but don't close it. Next, to print or save your reading, you can simply click File in the top right. The last thing I will show you on our software is the Tools tab. In here, you can either choose to block all the OTs in your reading or click options for further customization. In here, you can change temperature thresholds for your max rise and high limit alarms. You can also set up your readings to be sent to your email every morning or saved in a folder automatically on your desktop. you will need your IT department to help you with those steps. One final thing, unblocking TCs. Now that our cable 3 and 6 on bin 1 are blocked, let's go ahead and unblock them. Start by hitting the plus symbol next to bin 1. Then, right-click on cable 3. Now you can select Unblock. You will need to complete another read for the effect to show. Now I will walk you through some simple troubleshooting steps that you can follow without needing a service tech to visit your site. One of the more common issues we come across is having two programs open at the same time. Since most of our customers minimize the BCS Grain tab, they often forget that a tab is already open, so they double-click our software again. When this happens, the software will not let you do a read and is often discoverable by this interface check message in the bottom left corner. Another issue we tend to see is the Digi Gateway not being able to send information to the BCS Grain software. This issue will also give the interface check message in the bottom left corner. To pinpoint the issue, make sure the IP address is correctly entered into this section right here. If the gateway is communicating correctly, then you should see an OK in the status box. If the gateway is not communicating with the PC, please refer to the Digi Gateway section in this video for steps on how to make sure the IP address is correct on the gateway itself. Another issue we can troubleshoot is the K8X cards. This issue would give a message in the bottom left corner saying either device fail or device check. These cards are located in the switch boxes for your storage container. Inside of the switch box, there is one K8X card and a varying amount of K1 cards. The K8X card will be on the left side of the box and will look different compared to the K1 cards. First, you can make sure the card is pushed in all the way. If that doesn't work, try pulling the card out and pushing it back in. This would reset the card if it got stuck on a read. When doing this, make sure power is not hooked up to the switch. You can either flip the breaker for the switch, or you can disconnect the red and black wire from the top of our power supply. Finally, if those two steps do not work, please reach out to us and explain the issue as well as clarifying the steps taken to troubleshoot the issue. The final issue we could possibly come across is the radio on the device not having enough signal to reach the gateway. This will give the same device check or device fail message as the K8X card. To decipher which issue you have at your facility, we can head over to Switch Test to clarify your issue. The Switch Test software is a troubleshooting tool used to tell which parts of the system are working or not. When you open the software, two pages should pop up. On this first page, your IP address should generate. If this does not happen, click the search button in the bottom right. Once you see your IP address, click the IP address one time and then click Select. Once the first page closes, you should be good to go. The only thing we will be messing with here is this device number. If we click the up arrow and go to device 1, we can see some type of code pops up. The one at the beginning of these three messages means we are testing device 1. Then, the word get would mean that signal is being sent out from the gateway to the radio. Next, the word ACK would mean that the radio is communicating with the gateway. Finally, the last message, MUX K8X 4.6.3 off, would mean that the K8X card is communicating with the gateway through the radio. The 4.6.3 is just the K8X card software version, so if your number is different, that is completely fine. This is how Switch Test is supposed to look when everything is working. Now let's show you some other instances where certain hardware is not working correctly. In this scenario, we have gone too far up the device list and found that there is no device 2. If you only have 4 devices at your facility, device 5 would give you this message. In this situation, we have only gotten a GET and an ACK. This would indicate that the gateway is communicating out and the radio is sending signal back to the gateway, but the K8X card is not communicating back to the gateway. Our last scenario shows us only getting a GET. This would indicate that the gateway is sending signal out but not receiving anything from the radio. Since the K8X card sends signal through the radio to communicate with the gateway, we also do not see the K8X card. In this situation, we would deal with the radio first because the K8X card might still be fine. Hopefully, you have a baseline understanding of switch test. Now we can take a look at our next tool, Digi Device Discovery. After you double-click the Digi program, a screen like this will appear. Your KTX system will have your facility's name on it. This will be the IP address you want to use. Once you have identified which IP address is tied to your KTX system, double-click it. Once you are on this website, we are only going to pay attention to two pages. First, we will look at the XB network page. Then, we will look at the reboot page. The XB network page will show you all of your devices and their corresponding numbers. As you can see, our test site only has one device. If you do not see all of your devices in here, click Discover XB Devices. Now let's check how to perform a reboot on the system. Start by clicking Reboot on the left side of the page. Then click Reboot. A page like this should appear. The reboot process takes about a minute. If the home page does not automatically pop back up after a reboot, exit out of the web page and start the process over again. If you need further assistance with the BCS Grain software or the tools associated with it, please reach out to us either by phone or by visiting our website. I have also included the manual for our software in a link in the description below. You can find many other useful manuals on our website. Thank you, and have a great day.